And about 30 seconds have passed since the last recording, so let's go. I don't think I did this level, did I? Like, I don't remember ever doing it. Alright, so what else is here? I guess just a bunch of stuff where I use this. Would make sense, it is the name of the stage. Yep. Okay. So you gotta be really quick there. Also, I didn't know the spikes were instant kill. I figured that, you would just kind of take a little bit of damage from them and then be able to move on your merry way. Evidently not. Alright, so I don't know if I want to bother with those again. Bothers with them again, anyway. Yeah, I should be safe if I do this. Just go quick? Okay. Oh no, I don't like these things. Those things are assholes. It's almost like maybe I should use the phase ability to, let them pass through me. Almost like that's the theme of the level, and I just immediately freaking forgot. It's okay, I'm good at games. So I've not actually used this thing yet. I know it can be used to get treasure if it's, like, out of the way, but, I've not used it for other reasons yet. I will keep that in mind. And I've died anyway. That was pretty excellent. So while I'm going through this stage, since it shouldn't be the most concentration-requiring thing I've ever done in my life, even though it so far has been harder than it needed to be, I can go back to answering the "what was your life in elementary school like?" question. I went over some of the, like, very early time last time. Trying to think what other pointless things to include. I believe I've talked about my 4th grade teacher before, and how she was slightly psychotic. I don't remember how long it's been, though. So I will reiterate a particularly memorable moment from that year. This was the year of various fads. It was when Pokemon first came out, though I wasn't part of that originally. But I think before Pokemon was when we had Crazy Bones, which were a short-lived, random thing that had no reason to be popular and yet was anyway. If you don't know what they are, which you probably don't, they were a collectible plastic toy that, basically it came in like 60 different types originally, and then they added more later. But they were just kind of little plastic head things with different faces and shapes and stuff, and they were just kind of collectibles. Like, you'd get a package of 4, and in addition to the 60 different types, there were also, like, a multitude of different colors of them you could get, and there were rare ones like glow-in-the-dark and gold and stuff. I never got any gold ones, but, anyway, for a while, these things were popular for whatever reason, and, I had a pretty decent collection of them. I, did get all 60, and then after having gotten all 60, I got another set of 60. And so, like, I remember I brought my collection of them to school one day, and there was a guy who I wasn't, like, particularly close friends with, but we talked occasionally, who wanted to see the collection. And this was before the, like, actual, like, school day started. Like, the teacher wasn't even really there yet. And, but it was about to start very shortly. And so I was like, I don't know if I really want to take these out right away, because, like, Mrs. Blasucci, that was her name, is gonna be here, like, pretty soon, and I don't want her to, like, get mad. So, he didn't care, and grabbed my bag of them and dumped them all over my desk. And, then, pretty much right after this happened, she came in, saw that there were, like, toys all over my desk, and got, like, mad at me and, like, confiscated them for the day or whatever. And so I'm just like, good going, Chris. I'm so glad you did that. But, it gets so much worse, though. So, after that happened, later on in the day, he, like, we were sitting, I don't remember if we were right next to each other or if there was, like, other people in between, but he was near me and was, like, trying to tell me something in the middle of class, and I'm just like, what the hell, dude? Like, this can wait. Like, we're in the middle of stuff. Like, we're not supposed to be talking now. But, he kept randomly trying to talk to me, and I, once again, was like, hey, shut up. And, of course, he doesn't get in trouble, but I do, because I was talking back to him. So, since this was now the second time that I had done horrible, horrible things that day, because, my god, I had, like, toys on my desk before school started, and I also spoke once, she, like, punished me by putting me in the corner. Like, I had to actually move my entire desk into the corner of the room away from everybody else and spend the rest of the day there. So, that happened. And then, later on, in the same day, the same fucking kid was like, I forget exactly what he did. It was probably just more of the same stuff where he was, like, trying to talk to me and I'm, like, telling him to shut up. It might have been something else. It's been too long, like, for me to remember. But, he did it again, and the teacher had a fucking heart attack because I was being, like, the most disobedient child she'd ever seen in her life. And so, it turned into, like, basically, she stopped whatever the current lesson was and went on, like, an hour-and-a-half tirade about, like, the difference between ego and self-actualization, or something. Like, I don't even know what the hell it was. It was something stupid like that. Keep in mind, we're 4th graders. Like, how old is that, like, 9, maybe? Like, we don't know what the hell any of this stuff means. And so she's going on this big tirade about it, and it went into, like, such weird territory. Like, the conversation, well, it wasn't a conversation, it was just us bitching at, or, her bitching at us. And she's talking about how, like, kids our age don't understand that not everything belongs to us. And she's like, what, like, imagine your friend comes over and is like, or no, I'm trying to remember how it went. It was like, your friend is like, I want to come over to your house. But it's not your house, is it? It's your parents' house. You don't own it. And then they come over, and it's like, hey, where do you want to go? Let's go to the park. Which park? Well, let's go to our park. Once again, this is not a thing that you own. And yet, children your age think that you just own everything. Like, it's just going, like, this had nothing to do with what she was complaining about. And it went on for so fucking long. And it was all because she was pissed off at me specifically for something that I didn't really do. And, like, the whole day was like that. It was so bizarre. Because, like, never before or since had that ever happened. Like I said, I was always, like, the good kid. I was usually fairly quiet, did what I was supposed to, didn't cause a ruckus, and yet here I am getting lectured for 2 hours and interrupting what we were doing for no real reason. So that was a pretty good year. That was the time that she was at her worst. I know there were other instances of it, but I don't remember any specifics, really. Like I said, it's been too long. I've removed most of this from my memory. Also, I'm finding this stage is a hell of a lot easier than the Plague Knight one. But like I said, that was 4th grade. Going back a year, 3rd grade, there wasn't really a whole lot that went on that I can remember. I remember our teacher had multiple sclerosis and, like, couldn't move very well, but other than that, like... Oh, wait, there was a thing up there. I missed it, damn it. I don't really remember much of that year. I think that might have been the year when we had to make, we made golf courses based off of countries. It was really weird. We made, like, a golf course based on the country of Italy. And by golf course, I mean, like... God, how do I describe it? It was like a cardboard, paper-mache... just thing. Like... I don't know what it was. I can't describe this. But, I just remember, like, we had to construct these things, and, like, we actually would, like, at the end of the project, like, everybody did their different countries. We were in groups of 3 or whatever, and, like, we had to have, like, actual golf balls and putters and stuff, and the goal was to, like, make a course that you could hit, like, you could theoretically get a hole-in-one. It had to be designed well enough for that. I don't even remember what ours was like. I remember it had the Leaning Tower of Pisa in it, but, other than that, I have no idea. It was just like some log that you would hit it through, and it had nothing to do with Italy at all. That's pretty much all I remember of that year. 5th grade, though, was the real shit. I still maintain to this day that, 5th grade was my hardest year of school. K through 12, like, high school was not anywhere near as bad as 5th grade. And I think it was because this was the year that I stopped giving a shit. So, like, I had so many assignments that I just didn't do. And so, like, I'm trying to remember, like, I have to go into this story properly. I can't jump to the end and say, like, what happened at the end of the year. But, like, this was the first year that we had, like, difficult social studies, which was always my least favorite class anyway, just because I always found it extremely boring. But, like, you always, like, before, in the previous years, you have your typical, like, like, the Pilgrims did this stuff, and blah blah blah, and, like, that's pretty much all you learn. Like, you learn about the different Indian tribes and whatever. I do remember them specifically being called Indian tribes, though. I guess this was before, like, it was unacceptable to say that, because now they're Native Americans. But, like, we had that kind of stuff, and that was about it. But 5th grade was when we actually learned about, like, how the government works, and it sucked. It sucked ass. I remember there was this one particular test where we had to learn, like, the checks and balances of the 3 main branches of the government, and not a single person in the class passed that test, so she actually let us, like, prepare an extra night and try to take it again. And I had to memorize this entire chart of, like, okay, so executive does this, and they have the power to do this over judicial, and, like, I don't remember any of that shit now. But that was kind of the moment when I was like, oh shit, school is actually kind of hard now. And, on a less difficult, but, more time-consuming note, this was also the year when we had, basically throughout the year, we did projects on different animals. And so, like, basically everybody kind of had, like, one particular animal that they would either be assigned or would pick. I forget how it worked. And we did them, like, by classification. Like, everybody did a mammal, then everybody did a bird, and we had, like, different types of projects for all these. I remember I had the, I don't know if it was the dromedary. It was one of the types of camels. Dromedary or Bactrian, however you say that. Good job. I like death. But I did a camel for the mammal. I did the whooping crane for the bird. Okay. I don't remember what my reptile was. I think it was an alligator of some sort. And then for fish, even though it wasn't technically a fish, it's like a... I don't know what you call it, like an invertebrate, I guess, or cephalopod, but I had the giant squid. And so, like, we would do clay models of the animal or just drawings or whatever, and we had to just kind of do a little report to the class on them and stuff. And I specifically remember one of the stupidest parts of this was there was this one kid who I hated, who his mammal report was just on dogs, which I thought was about the most generic thing you could ever do. Like, who gives a shit about dogs? Everybody already knows about them. But during his report, there was a part where he's like, and the female dog has a different kind of name, and it's going to sound like a swear, but it's called a dam. And I don't remember if I laughed out loud, but I was at least very confused, and I'm like, are you sure that's the right swear? Like, I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called. And nobody else said anything. So, like, I'm okay, I guess female dogs are called dams now. I'm pretty sure that's actually what beavers build, but okay. But, I don't know, it was pretty good. But I swear, I'm eventually getting to a point here. So as I mentioned, we had all the different types of animals. After the fish, we did one on insects. And this was one where a fair amount more work had to go into it than any of the other ones, because we, instead of just doing like the typical report and you like either make a sculpture or a drawing or whatever of the animal, you actually had to design like a experiment type thing. Like, I don't remember what the requirements for this were, but I know that the thing that I wanted to make was like a maze that ants could go through to find food at the end and like see if they'd figure out how to get through the maze and stuff. But the point is, like, you had to actually build this, and that's a fair amount of effort, especially for 5th graders. So I think I got sick around that time, and so I just kind of didn't do it. It was like this major project that was probably worth a significant part of my grade, and I just flat out did not do it. And it was not the only assignment that I didn't do, but it was probably the biggest one. And obviously this is like it was earlier on in school where it's like you're not going to be super worried about your grades. Like, you're not thinking like, oh no, I won't get into college if I have a D in science in 5th grade. But it was still a fairly big deal to me because I had always gotten A's or at least B's up to that point. And I had found out that like, we got these grade reports back eventually that the parents and stuff had to sign, and I actually had an F in science. I'm not sure how missing that one project and doing well on the other 4 came out to like a 50% or whatever it was to give me this F, but that's what happened. And they were my family was none too pleased about that. And so like I flat out did not do that project. I never tried to make it up in any way. And God, this part sucks. And there was another thing we had to do in science, which was we made sextants. That's a good word. We made sextants out of like cardboard and a straw or something, and we had to like measure the placement of the moon every night. And here's the thing with me and homework. I was always the kind of person to do the homework the night before it was due. Like, if it was a long-term project of some kind, I would not start it early. I would always just do it at the end. And this was a thing that we had to do every single night. And I was not adjusted to doing that kind of stuff. So I did it like twice, and then promptly forgot about it. And that was apparently a major part of the grade too. Like, you had to like actually track this stuff and keep up with it, and I just didn't. So I think at one point my my grade in science actually dipped to like a 30%, and so I had like a 30 in science. I still don't know how it got that fucking low. It doesn't make any sense to me, because I know I did most of the other stuff, but I got really low in that, and I had like a 50-something in social studies, and so I was failing both of those. And this was also the year with the fricking vocab tests of doom, which is another whole subject to get into. Basically, it wasn't just spelling tests, it was vocab tests. We had like this booklet that you would go through, and you'd get 10 words per week, and the words were always grouped by like words that either had similar meanings or similar spellings or just general like related in some way. And so we would have to do a test at the end of the week where like there were various things you had to do with the words. You had to obviously remember how to spell them and learn the definitions, and there was like a couple assignments throughout the week, but at the end of the week you would have a test. And the test was, the teacher would read the definition of the word, and then you had to, like, first of all, figure out which word that was, and then spell it correctly. Again, the problem being, these were grouped into, like, words that had similar meanings. So, I was extremely bad at these. And it got to the point where I actually had to, like, copy off of people on these tests in order to get through them. Because I would get, like, maybe 2 of the 10 on my own. It sucked. I hated these tests so much. But, point is, as I've said, I was failing 2 classes and not doing so well in other ones. And, the end of the year came, and I was just kind of... Like, I knew that this was a problem beforehand, but I had not done anything to try and solve the problem. So... I'm just like, oh god, the end of the year report card's coming in, and I'm gonna have 2 Fs. I'm gonna fricking, like, get killed when I get home. Anyway, let me take a break here and read what's actually going on. I learned the word avarice from Fablehaven. But yeah, end of the year comes up, and I'm, like, dreading what's gonna happen, but I didn't do anything to try to fix the situation. Get the report card, straight A's. And I'm like, what the hell? So, I'm looking at this thing, just kind of, like, in disbelief. And, we actually got, printouts of, like, a breakdown of the grade and where all the different points came from. And, so I look at mine, and in science... It's like... Oh, Jesus. When did this level become hard? Well, actually it became hard earlier, because I kept dying on that one section over and over. But, so I look at science, I still had like a 38 or something as my overall grade, but then I had like a 200 or 250% participation grade. So, like, it just averaged out to an A. And that was not only me. Like, a couple people actually mentioned that. Like, everybody's like, hey, I got an A+ in science and social studies. I wasn't expecting that. And I'm like, wait, it wasn't just me? And so, like, apparently, that was a thing. And I don't know if it was because, like, now that I think about it, like, in hindsight, as I mentioned, I skipped several assignments, but I shouldn't have been that low. So maybe the grades were just calculated wrong, and the teacher realized this at the last minute and pulled the participation grade as, like, just kind of pulled it out of her ass as a way to fix everything. Or maybe, like, so many people were failing, and, like, I guess that would look bad on her record or something, so, like, just kind of corrected the issue and was like, whatever, you get A's anyway. So... That was a hell of a year. I will never forget 5th grade. It sucked ass. 6th grade, I could go on a bit more, but I think I've talked more, I've talked more about this subject than I really had any right to at this point. I will mention one other thing, because I've already said how I would always put off projects until the last possible moment. That sucks. We did a project on different countries, not golf courses this time, and mine was Algeria, and I think we had like a month to work on this thing. And basically, you had a country, and you had to put together like not just a report, but like this whole set of different stuff, like based on the country. Like you had to have like a fake newspaper made for it, and like current events and things about like the types of food they ate and culture and all this different stuff. And I didn't do none of that shit. It was the day before it was due, and I was starting to work on it, and then I found out that there was a BattleBots marathon that day, which was a show that I found interesting but never got a chance to watch, so I watched the entire marathon. I did not work on that project at all, and my family knew that I had the project due and knew that I was not working on it, but we're like, whatever, it's your decision. So I got, it was like 10 p.m. when I started working on it again, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm getting this done in time. So I just didn't go into school the next day. Like, my grandma was always fine with that. I skipped so many fucking days of school. Just because she kind of enabled me. But, so yeah, I did the entire project the day after, and, that was about it. It didn't come out great, but I did it. But yeah, that was like, I remember that one specifically, but I know there were other cases where I did similar shit. I don't know. So anyway, that was a stage. Let's see if I get anything in this sequence. Nope. Okay. I'll see if there's any new overworld map stuff that I need to do, and then probably end the video. It actually does not appear that there is. Armor Outpost. That sounds like a thing I might want to look at, though. Was this the thing I should have gone to earlier? I feel like it probably is. How I get... How to get thing. How to get thing. Can I jump off the people? No. Oh well, let's just go inside. No, can't go in. What about Froggo? Toter. I was close. What's it to you, Toter? Who's that? Toter. Good. No, didn't like that one. I think my jokes are all horrible. I might come back to this guy eventually. I'm not gonna bother with him too much. Mary Sweets. Clearly I will buy this dress. Oh god, Mr. Hat. Ah, hey, it's my greatest passion. Nothing. No, we're not gonna do that. Okay, is that all you say? How about you, Peacock, or Fabulous Hadoo? No. I see no reason to give you that money. I'm sure I get something from it, but I'm not going to spend it now. Stop that right now. Stop asking me for money. Oh my god. You know, I came here thinking maybe I could buy armor. Fine, I'll do one of them. Let's see what the Hidoo is gonna do. Am I about to lose all my money? Okay. Oh, and it's just a boss. Okay. I get to pay 3,000 gold to fight a boss. Good. What a wonderful benefit. Oh my god. I'm so far not doing horrible. Can I hit you at all? By all means, keep doing this. You're easy to hit in this phase. Oh my god. I'm probably gonna have to start spamming the phase pretty soon. I like how I'm doing better at this fight than I was at the other one. It's almost like fights might have different difficulties, so I'm not sure why I said that, as if it was an interesting fact. Okay, you die. You die soon. You die. You die. There we go. Do I get a better helmet now? Well, I got a bunch of gold back, at least. Okay, bye. What the hell was the point of that? I mean, I spent 3,000 gold and got 5,000 back, so yeah, that was a profit, but, You. Okay. Well, at least I know how to get the scroll now. And what's up here? Oh, here's armor. Charge slash. Don't really care about that. That sounds kind of cool. Let's see. Trying to see what options. Wait, that's Mr. Hat again. What are you doing? Get out of here. I'm gonna keep following you. Are you back at the shop now? No. What do you people want? Anyways, yeah, I'll go back there and see if I want to buy any stuff. I think I'm being way too cheap with my money. Like, I don't know why I'm being like that. It's kind of a stupid thing to have. It's a stupid habit to have. Stopping may be a problem. Okay. Yay, clearly I'll buy that one. I don't know if I really like any of these. This one, yeah, it has a use, but I usually get the gold back anyway. This one, I need all the protection I can get, so I don't really want to do that. This one, I don't really even know what it means. I guess I just do the, like, aerial attack twice, and it just gives me a charge slash. I don't really understand that. This one sounds useful and bad at the same time, and then that one is decidedly useless, so I think I'm just gonna stick with the regular one for now. These things sound more useful. Let's go for this thing at least. Actually, hold on. Yeah, that one's not that important. I'll take both of these. Unless I can only have one. And what do we got over here? Beardman. What do I need to find? A horn? Wait, what? Okay. So, that place was pointless. I mean, unless I find a horn or something. Alright. So... I really need to remember if there's a way to fill my health. Also, stuff. Who you? Lord. I don't know if I want to fight you, actually. Oh, God. I don't know your attack pattern yet. Alright, I forgot I've got a charge attack now. Let's see what that's like. I can get used to that. However, I am not doing so great. And he just made it night. Because he has that ability, apparently. I'm gonna die. Yep, okay. Well, let's give that another shot, I guess. Why did he get to move through that? That wasn't fair. Not that it mattered at all, but... Ground Slash, go. I don't have this ability for long. Better use it while I've got it. It's a little bit cheap, but I am perfectly fine with that. It doesn't do a massive amount of damage, and it's gone. You gonna randomly make it night again? Yep, there we go. Don't really understand this, but I'll roll with it. Yeah, you're actually not that hard once I know what I'm doing. Imagine that. Learning a boss makes it easier to beat. And then I die anyway because... Okay, there we go. So, I'm not sure if beating these people actually really does anything other than getting gold. It might, like, open up side quests later on or something, I don't know. Alright, well, there's a gem stage. I'm gonna check that out, and then I think we're gonna be done. Off to an excellent start. Oh, hello. I forgot that they did that. I lost a good number of gems there, but okay. Of course I picked the wrong one, why wouldn't I? That's alright, there's plenty more where those came from. So yeah, I don't really have much to add to this. I pretty much spent all my material on the random school stories, but hopefully they were semi-entertaining. I enjoyed telling them at least. As always, if you have other random questions for me to answer, I will probably be happy to answer them next time, depending on what they are. As long as they don't involve, like, pot brownies and stuff like that. You can ask those questions, I just won't necessarily answer them. Also, no sea urchins. Okay, yep, I think that's about all I want to do. Remind me if I can get hearts in this village. Or not hearts, but like the health orbs, I don't know what you call them. Because I seem to remember that being an option, and I haven't actually gone back to check at any point. And obviously, if I missed anything important somewhere, then you can tell me about that too. But next time, I guess we'll check out what this place is, and then I guess do Mole Knight, and then whatever else I can. I don't know. End.